Okay, the Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is September 24th, 2025. The time is 12:31. My name is Carolyn Stapleton. I'm serving as chairman of today's parole panel. My colleagues who are joining us by Zoom are on the panel are Jerry Ledoux and Steve Prater. And I am at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge. Is there any staff in there with you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Staff, will you introduce yourself, please, for the record?
Cheryl Cook,
Okay.
and I work in administrative.
Okay, Ms. Cook, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. McCarthy, for the record, will you give your name and DOC number, please?
Yes, ma'am. Joe McCarthy, the third, DOC number 339249.
Okay, at this time, Mr. McCarthy, I'm going to read from the master record your charges and everything. Okay, Joe McCarthy, you are located at Southwest Contract Transitional Work Program today. You are a third class offender. Your parole eligibility date is 12/6/25. Your adjusted good time is 6/11/26, and your full-time date is 3/6/2037. You have a total sentence of 15 years, and they are 5 years that are running concurrently on each other. Let me see here. First degree vehicular negligent homicide. Vehicular. Can't find where it's at. I'm sorry. Vehicular negligent injury.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we got three. Here it is. I'm sorry. First degree vehicular negligent injury, 3 times, 5 years each, because they ran concurrent. Okay, is that all correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Today, your case is being handled by Ms. Ledoux. Ms. Ledoux, would you like to start the interview? Oh, she's on mute.
She's
on mute.
Here she is. We hear you now.
I'm gonna defer until we hear from support and opposition, if you don't mind, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right. Today we have in support Jacqueline Hollins, Chastity Martin, Helen Bradley. They're joining us by Zoom, so we will start with your supporters, sir. Ms. Hollins, can you join us? Can you speak?
Yes, ma'am.
She's not speaking?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. I'm speaking.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead then.
Oh, well, first I want to start off saying that I know my husband. I've known him for a long time. He has a heart of gold. He never do anything to hurt anyone. He'll do anything for anybody. If he make a mistake or wrong someone, he'll admit to it. He take accountability for what he do. And I feel that he done learned his lesson. Me and his kids, we ready for him to come home, for him to be a husband, be a father. And we need him, to make my life better, because me raising 5 kids all by myself since he been gone been so hard, but I've made it. I'm ready for my husband to come home, because like I say, I know his heart. He has a good heart. He never do anything to hurt anybody.
Okay, Ms. Hollins. All right, thank you very much. Now you have a cousin that's going to be watching you on Zoom, but she's not going to speak, okay? And that's Chastity Martin. Now we have Helen Bradley, your mother. She'd like to speak.
She's on the phone.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Helen Bradley.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to speak on behalf of my son. And I think that he should be able to come home because I think he did enough time for what he did because what he did was an accident. He are a kid, Lord. He got kids. So I think that he should come home.
Okay, were you able to hear that? Anybody? She's just saying that she thinks that you should come home, that you love your children, and that you're missed. Okay. That's that. Okay, in the room, I forgot to ask, Ms. Cook, is there anything you'd like to say before we begin the interview? I forgot to ask earlier.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to say that he has been perfect offender here, that he started working, I think is November of 2023. And he's been working ever since. He comes and goes. We have him in Honor Cottage. He's moved up because everybody likes him here. Other offenders, even they look up to him. He's very recognized as a very good person here. I have to say that.
Okay. All right, so will you please tell us at this time, in your words, what got you incarcerated and why you deserve an early release, sir?
Well, first of all, I got incarcerated. It was a normal typical day. I was working and I'm always doing something in my neighborhood with the kids. And I had a couple of my neighbor kids with me and we was headed north. Actually, we had work that day, just getting off. Was headed to get something to eat and a truck, NP pulled out in front of me and I hit him head on. My car hit him head on. But make a long story short, I wasn't charged. I didn't go to jail. They come 6 months later with charges to lock me up. And it was for, I don't know the charges that I had, but as you see right there, it was for a dirty urine. You know what I'm saying? And that's a dirty urine. My blood work was clean at the time of the wreck. I wasn't on anything. I didn't have any alcohol or anything with me, but it went by a dirty urine, and I was arrested for that. But besides that, that's over me now, and I done moved forward. And the reason I should come home, like I say, I worked, I played, was the biggest part of my house. I always worked, always had a job, and I drove for a living. And I pleaded guilty to a sentence for 5 years, suspend 3 and do 2. I missed a court date because I'm stuck because of bad water. I'm over the road trying to support my family. Called, I told them that I couldn't make it. I wasn't going to be there. So I gave them a date. 3 days later, I turned myself in on a Monday to thinking I'm finna come do 3 years, 2 year sentence in 6 months. But they put me in a cell, and 2 months later, I goes back to court. They took my plea back and gave me 15 years, and I'm doing it. I done manned up to it, even there. And from there, it's been up. It's been a struggle, but I've been maintaining. You know what I'm saying? Started there from Franklin Parish to DCI. Worked at headquarters for 7 months. I was the last of the men that worked there. You know, before they took over. I mean, I've been studying vibe, I've been schooling, I've been doing everything it is to keep my mind focused, and the three main things is I know I learned people, places, and things, and that's what it get me by in the grace of God. So everything else is, it's just how I go, that's why I stand there. And I'm here, like I said, I sucked it up. I still have weary days and weary nights, but I don't fault nobody for what happened because everything has happened for a reason. I mean, I might not was all the way. I feel that I was right then, but it's things I did before that, I got away with it. So, you know, you don't always get away with stuff no more. I mean, stuff, harm will come back. And those weren't the times now. I'm doing time. I haven't been in prison since 97. I stayed out 23 years. I never had a conviction in that city in Louisiana since 1990. I mean, I don't, I mean, it was just,
A criminal.
just time has happened that I'm doing this for a reason. I think it was a purpose to show me more things that I can do I can do better than what I was doing, and I see that now. So that's where I stand at, and the situation is, all I know is do what I can do. I don't have no, what I'm saying, I feel even though the people that was with me in the wreck, it was kids, it was 3 juveniles, but we was all family, afterwards we was family. What I'm saying? I mean, it hurted me more than that, what I'm saying? But it hurted me more to see me doing time and I couldn't be out there to help them, guide them because I was a guidance in my neighborhood, and that hurts me more than seeing my kids, out of all my other kids. I have 10 kids. I had 7 boys, 7 girls, and 3 boys. And that was a goal in my life. And when my first family, after I got out of prison in 97, not to have my family members to worry to see me in prison, see my kids coming to see me in prison, and I think I did fairly well with that, what I'm saying? Up until now, in 2018, you know. I done missed 3 of my daughter's graduations, my babies, and it's a lot of things that I can't get back, but with the system, yeah, it got me time to sit back and realize, hey, man, this is what you're missing out on. I mean, you don't get away with anything, you don't slide. I call it slide. I've been sliding for years, and I was just now realizing I hurt a lot of people with some of my action things I've done, and hey, I know I hurt them, what I'm saying? It hurt me, but it hurt me more enough now to know that the people that love me, that had really that care is still there. The support I have is still there because like I say, I'm homeless, the jail was like it was like, it's some place I thought I'd never be at, you know what I'm saying? But I done took
Let
it.
me ask you something. You talked about the juveniles in your car, the juveniles.
Yes, ma'am.
And how old were the juveniles? There was 3 of them. How old were they? I'm not gonna do an interview, but in the middle of all this, how old were those children?
I think the oldest was like 12, 11.
Okay. So they were all what, 12, 11, 10 years old, something like that?
Yes, ma'am.
And none of them were in a seatbelt.
I think one of them was.
Okay, that's what I had read, that they weren't in seatbelts and that they were juveniles. Okay, so are we ready for me to turn it over to the other board member for an interview?
Do we have any opposition who would like to speak?
There's none here.
Okay.
No. Ms. Ledoux?
Yes. Mr. McCarthy, how long have you been incarcerated on this 15-year sentence?
Since 22, I think March 9th, I came to jail 22.
Well, that's 3 years, three and a
Mhm.
half years. I often have the same conversation as you just talked about, that sometimes people say, well, I didn't do it. But then I'm looking at their history and I'm thinking, well, they did something that they got away with prior to being where they are. Um, I would like for you to tell me, what are the names of your victims?
What are the names of my victims?
Yeah.
Um, the first name was Robert Campbell. He was one of them. And the other name was, I just remember Robert Campbell. I know him. They're the same age as my kids, and they come around and play. The other
Do
two
you,
were,
do you know what their conditions are today?
yeah, we stayed across the street from each other. And after that, I mean, I always had some at my house, like a pool for the neighborhood kids, and
Yeah. But do you know their physical conditions today?
well, as I left, their physical condition after I were mine and theirs, and it was fine.
Yeah, well, one's knees are blown out, and the other one has so many scars on his face. His nickname
Yeah,
is Scarface now.
yeah,
And one still has a brain injury.
I didn't know that. Well, one was kind of, The one they call Scarface, that was my neighbor. That's one of my cousins. That was his son. You
So what I've not heard, I mean, I've heard some very good things that you've said,
know?
but what I've not heard is your understanding of what it did to those three people. I haven't heard
Yeah.
what it did to those three people.
It's just not those people. The three is their family, and it was because it hurted me more, man. When I was hurt in the hospital with them, I was there. I was checking on them. We was in the, I mean, I was in pretty bad shape, and it hurt. It hurt them because the friend, one of the son, Robert Jr., me and his dad, like we like, you know what I'm saying? It was it hurt more because it's something that I couldn't avoid, but I would never put nobody through that because I got my kids and them the same age, you know, and I know, you know, I try to explain, but you know, I try to explain to the when it happened with the parents, and they you know what their word was. It's kind of not explainable. That's something like, you know, yeah. I mean, I hurt because the situation I know, you know, that could scar them for life too. You know what I'm saying? And they're younger than me, put it like that.
Right.
I'm kind of up in the age, but they're young, you know, and that's gonna carry them. I mean,
Okay. I,
after.
I just wanted to point out that,
Yeah,
um,
that's the key thing. I'm sorry, man, but that's more that was first before anything. I mean, for me, you know, that was my main prerogative, the kids and their parents, you know, because I got kids and I know how I would feel, you know, and I would like to get out. It ain't like I didn't get a chance to talk to those kids or be with those kids anymore, you know, to see them watch them go through what they went through. I was there, you know, through a therapy, you know, I was there, you know, through a lot of it, you know.
I'll defer to Mr. Prater's, questioning at this time.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Joe, I'm reading what one of the parole officers wrote in the synopsis here, his summary. He said that you're 49 years old and you're serving 5 years hard labor on 3 counts of first-degree vehicular negligent injury, each count to run concurrently or consecutively. That
Yes,
means
sir.
15 years. And how many years have you served on that 15?
3.5 since
Okay.
22.
You sound, I've enjoyed listening to you as far as I think that you've been remorseful as far as I picked that up the way it said it hurt you more than it hurt them. I mean, I know that wasn't literal, but
Yeah.
I know what you meant by that. But I'm still having a problem with releasing you that much early with the criminal history that you had and all the chances that you've had to straighten up. And it's hard to believe that. I mean, it's hard to make myself believe that you're straight now and you're going to, you know, having only served 3.5 of 15.
Sir.
And so let me just read what you got: arrests for and convictions for aggravated battery, failure to appear, jumping bail, driving under suspension, possession of Schedule 1, possession of Schedule 2, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of alcohol in a motor vehicle, obstruction of justice, resisting arrest, interference with officers, careless operation, contempt of court, forgery, criminal trespass to land, ordinance violations, possession of controlled substance, numerous traffic violations, along with these instances, these 3 instances of criminal neglect. Yes, sir. Yeah, I see you want to say something. Let me just finish, and then I'll ask you a question. What was in your system? Go over that again when they did a blood test on you.
I did a blood test, but nothing in my system. They went by urine. It shows you right there. I
Okay.
was a hundred
Okay,
percent.
I misstated that. I'm sorry. Tell me what was in your dirty urine then.
It was uh man, it was narcos, all kinds of stuff that came up. I mean, it was stuff I never even did, never even heard of.
Well, man, it's
The
probably
blood
just the
test was
legal.
the blood test was 100% at the time of the wreck. I didn't have nothing in my system. It shows that 100%, you know. I would have took this case to trial and all the other cases. I had been convicted of none of those cases that you just called, but I hadn't been to jail since 97. I haven't been convicted for drug paraphernalia. I had a problem with that, you know, so I was convicted of everything else. I wasn't convicted of none of that. It's just showing right there. I never took time or probation for none of that stuff you just named out.
Well, how did stuff get in urine? Simple question.
Huh?
How did that stuff get in your urine?
Well, to be a proud sir, yeah, I did have problems. I did prescription drugs, you know what I'm saying? And I got hold to some prescription drugs that wasn't prescription drugs. They had all kinds of other stuff in it. It was, you know, but the time of the wreck, true enough, facts is yes, I have. That's why I got all these diplomas since I've been locked up. I've been different treatments, different classes, you know,
I
for
understand.
that.
I'm just uh, I'm not meaning to argue with you,
No, sir.
okay? I'm just trying to get in my mind whether we can trust you outside, whether you can trust yourself outside, because you got a history of all these arrests. I mean,
Yeah, but yeah, so here's to those arrests, but you look at the years extended from 1997, 90. I caught my first felony in 90. Okay, that's number one. My second felony wasn't a felony, it was adjudicated preferred. That wasn't even in Louisiana, that was in Illinois for a drug paraphernalia. Okay. And the third is this right here, what I got now.
okay.
So I mean, for us, you can trust me. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel. I mean, if you spoke to anybody that in that area that know me, that I'm not. Drugs were one of my biggest problems once before in life. You know what I'm saying? And I seen the consequences behind it. But I mean, for us trusting me, I mean, that kind of make me feel like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm trusting for myself. Out of 20 years, I go with that being in your guys' system and staying out of trouble. Even my parole officer, you know what I'm saying, that I had from Illinois was transferred. She promoted me. You know what I'm saying. I mean, I never gave them no problem. They wanted to come to my house. They came. They seen what was what. You know, I never gave no one no problem. You know,
Okay.
be honest, I
Madam
hate.
Chairman, that's all I have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I'm on the same path with Mr. Prater here. First of all, you had a hard time even remember one of the children's name, and they're such good friends. I don't understand that in family. You named one, and there's two more, and you couldn't remember, and you really can't remember their age. So I don't even understand that. That seemed like that would be burned in your memory. And as far as you've picked up yourself and you're going on with your life, these children, when we read their injuries, and that's something, I mean, they're not dead. But things that they did and enjoyed and loved now, they're not capable of doing, may not be capable, probably won't be capable of doing the rest of their life, like playing ball, things like that. Or like, I mean, being called Scarface. I mean, my God, what does that do to a person? And they were just kids. So I don't understand. And one still suffers from a brain injury and walks with a limp. That's lifelong. There's no picking up yourself and going forward for these children, except to do the best they can. But they will always bear the scars of that day, that they trusted you. And like you say, you were a loved individual. So I've got to believe that you were taking them to McDonald's.
Yes.
Now, one of them says that they remember you drinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's in the report. One of them says that. And then they have surveillance video that shows you passing a vehicle number one, in the outside lane at a high rate of speed. Now, so there's proof of that also. So that was reckless driving at a high rate of speed. And then you had these three children, all, because you can't remember their ages, all under the age of 12, and you didn't say, okay, guys, buckle up for safety. You didn't do that. That was your job as an adult. And then, as far as the blood test and a urine test, it's not unusual for blood tests not to show up something in a urine, or sometimes some things show up in urine and not in blood. So it was a litany of things that did show up in your urine, in dirty urine. And it wasn't just a little, it was a lot. And so now you are an impaired driver, driving while under the influence. It may not have been alcohol, but yet one child saw you drinking alcohol. And then the officer had the smell of alcohol when they came around you. So those kinds of things. And one of the children had to be airlifted. I mean, for these little passengers in your back seat, they were in critical condition. And they're still living with the consequences. And then the financial consequences. The mother of one said it ruined her. I mean, the medical bills and probably taking off of work. Your child died at one point and then had to be brought back to life. The consequences are monumental. One was in the hospital for 2.5 months. I lost everything over this. Now, I hope they're listening. I hope these people are listening, because I don't know, and maybe they did, and probably they did. I hope somebody told them about crime victims reparations for the state of Louisiana. It's for innocent victims of violent crime. And because you did test positive for being intoxicated, they would qualify for this. And that would help out with for lost wages, the out-of-pocket medical expenses, anything these children are still going on now or had in the past, because this falls in. So if they're listening, please check with your sheriff's office and ask them about crime victims reparations if you've not been informed that exists, because that's up to $10,000. And if it's permanent and total, it's $25,000 to help out a victim. So I don't know. You have all law enforcement opposition. You have one of the juveniles parents that is opposed. One is not opposed and one has no comment. And you know what? I really don't see the remorse for them. I've been hearing about you until you have to be specifically asked, and that you couldn't remember their names or
Yeah,
their
Swayzer.
ages.
Man, excuse me. One of them was a Swayzer. I mean, they weren't like families in the black community, in the black neighborhood, like where I lived at. I mean, it was like, and everybody that know me, and I'm kind of hurt now. Simple fact is because I have to live with this, and it's not that I didn't have remorse for those kids, because I still deal with these kids, and I still worry about these kids, even though they're grown. I know the situation they're going. I felt that if I had been out there, I still could have did better, even though where it looked and where it seemed like I was there, but I was more like a father to a lot of those kids in that neighborhood. And after the wreck, I made sure, what I'm saying, that they had stuff to get by with. And it's a lot that the system that people that don't know, that don't live there, what I'm saying, that wasn't there. I understand everything, everything that was there, what I'm saying, from day one when I caught this case. I understand that, but I have great remorse. I hurt every night. I think about it. Before I come here, I think about it, And I always checked up on those kids. It ain't like that. It happened and it didn't happen. Those kids still was at my house every day. After the wreck, after they got their cast off, I had pools in my backyard. They swarmed in the summer, They still play baseball. They still going on. We all still going.
One of them can't play baseball. Mother says that the knees are ruined and can barely walk. So one of them's not playing baseball. But let's move along, okay? Is the board prepared to vote?
Yes.
At this time, Ms. Ledoux, are you prepared to vote, ma'am? Oh, she's on mute. She doesn't know that. Wait, one second.
Mr. McCarthy, you have very good programming, and I'm glad to see that you're being productive where you are. And apparently your conduct has been exemplary. However, you've served a 3.5 years of a 15-year sentence, and you do have victim and law enforcement opposition. My vote today is to deny parole.
Okay, Mr. Prater?
Concur.
Okay, and I concur with Ms. Ledoux also. So today, sir, your request for parole has been denied. We will sign off at this location, Southwest Contract Transitional Work Program, and the time is 1:01.
All right. Thank you, guys. That's big.